Welcome, Walnut. I'm Lara, but you can call me Laz, your host for Walnut Wednesday. This is your reminder to be brave, be yourself, and know that you can make the world a better place just by what you decide today. Here, I'm going to share my weekly walnuttings with you on a Wednesday. Hello, Walnut. It is me, Laz, here for another episode of Walnut Wednesday. I hope you're having a wonderful week. I am so, I feel like the busiest little bee. Like, my back hurts. I've been doing so much in the Elliot Rose space. If you're in the walnut tree, I've kind of been talking about how all my eggs are morphing into looking after authors Elliot Rose basket at the moment. So if you're like, who the heck is Elliot Rose, jump into the walnut tree, and I've kind of posted all of those sort of things throughout. But it's so great to have a behind the scenes look at what it is like to be an author and how to support them and how to support somebody in the online space. But I digress. I'm just on a bit of a cloud and working like a little gen, doing all these things. But my walnutting this week, I wanted to come in and share a conversation that I had that was triggering to the person I was sort of discussing it with. And this is on the topic of sort of the growing pains, how we come into who we are, and all of my sort of walnut work coming to this place of where I can look back, reflect, but also sit in true power and honesty with who I actually am, thanks to all my little bits of brave, thanks to all of my walnuttings and my trial and error with all of the stuff on my self-love journey. But basically, I was talking about friendships and how, as a recovering people pleaser, the friends that I've had over the years, I'm the kind of person, let me know, Walnut, if you are too, where someone would come into my life and I would hang on to them, and this is probably a people pleaser thing, but I would hang on to them. I'd meet someone at a party, we'd be friends on Facebook. I think I'm still even friends with them on Facebook, and I haven't talked to them since, but I have so much love I want to share for the people in my world and that I meet. And I used to be a person so I had friends come into my life, and they were people who, sometimes, how sometimes there's people, and maybe you are one of them, Walnut, where you have one key friend for the chapter or the period of your life, and then that chapter just somehow closes and you grow, you move on, and it is what it is. I've had a lot of experiences with people where that's kind of happened to me, and I've been sort of the thing that's been a part of their chapter. And old Laz was always deeply hurt and destroyed by the closing of that, because I keep people so dear. I'd love to know if you're one of the people who has a collection of a person for a time, and then that kind of segues out, and then you have a new person, because I'd love to know the other side of it. But from my point of view, I call them the breakups that I've had with friends, where it was extremely painful for young little Laz, the little peanut, where it felt like I was just used. I felt disregarded. I felt like I was just oh, okay, so I've helped you through this time in your life, and I've kind of not paid attention to my other sunshine and rainbow friends because I was so involved in your life, and now you just have your new sunshine and rainbow for your new chapter, and I'm still here missing you, and feeling all of the hurt and all of the storm in a teapot things when you're young that matter, that really don't as you get older. But that's kind of where I'm coming from. And I was having this conversation saying, I've had these collection of various individual people where we've broken up and it's been hard, and each evolution of the individuals, I've kind of learned a new thing. And I was kind of talking about how I've walnutted so much that now I can kind of see those individuals and those people for what they are. I had a new kind of collection of a person come into my life who I love dearly, but I knew before even committing to this delicious friendship that I would keep in my life, I knew that I was just a chapter person for them. So I treated the relationship accordingly. And it's like the words I used, which kind of triggered the person I was talking to, was like, it's like, oh, I just kind of like give and take for what it, because it is what it is. And they were so hurt by the word take. But I was meaning sort of like, I see it for how it is. So I give myself accordingly to my boundaries, and I take accordingly to my boundaries and their boundaries too. So it's like I needed them for particular things, just like they needed me. So it's like a sleepover at their house because it's easier to commute to the next place, or they needed me to go on a lunch. I can't think of an actual example on the spot right now, Walnut, but it's kind of like, thanks to all my past experiences and all my past hurts and the breakups and the trials and tribulations you have when you move on from friends, this coming of age where you just kind of see things and see individuals for who they are. It's kind of like this getting a bird's eye view of the situation, of the friendship, of the relationship, rather than being right in it and like in the weeds, seeing all of the little things where it's like, oh, I feel used, I feel this. And taking that to be like, okay, well, what am I going to get from this relationship at the same time? Does that make sense, Walnut? So it's like, it is a take, but it's giving as much as you're taking. And yeah, I think I wanted to share this conversation, Walnut, because there are some people who are still like extremely triggered and still in the very early recovering people pleaser stages, where it's like, oh, you can't just take, but you can. If you're getting a certain amount, you can give that certain amount back, and the other way around. And so it's like, I don't know, like using someone back while they're using you. I don't know. It's really hard to explain when it's like, I'd love to know, Walnut, if you've had an experience with a friend like that. And this can look like sometimes even just with friendships that you've had for years, like friends in high school. You don't see each other every day. You don't communicate every day. The love is still there, but it's like a past love. It's a love for the nostalgia of what it was. And sometimes it just naturally progresses that you see each other annually, or you message when you're like, hey, I'm in this neck of the woods. Are you free? Like it's like a mutual understanding that the relationship, it's not even fizzled out. It's still there. It's just different. I saw a TikTok once that was like about your different tiers of friends as you get on and get older. You have a very solid like right now collection, you have a back then collection, and then you have that tiny little amount of, for me, very tiny amount of space for the new people to come in. And I'm kind of talking about this little space of the new people that come in. It's like, are you going to be in my like tight knit yes right now collection, or will you eventually be like my past collection where it's like we know each other and it's really great and the times that we spend are what they are? Or are you a person that is coming into my life that needs me for something, so I'm going to make sure that I get what I need back? Because our time is precious as we get on, right? Like the weekend, how is a weekend only 2 days? Like I feel tired just from thinking about a weekend because there's so much I want to do, and then all of a sudden it's Monday. Like your time is so precious. So it's like getting that perspective of a relation early on, and I feel like I can kind of pick that up now. So it's just, I don't really know, coming to this an awareness, Walnut, of who you are, what you need. It is not selfish to decide what you need from a relationship. And is it what it is? Like I'm coming from a space, Walnut, where it's like I just remember how hurt I was when those kind of moments of a chapter closing just hit me in the face, and I wasn't that person for them anymore. And it was like I was just so hurt, and I felt just like so used and like a doormat because I gave more than what I received out. And so for me, that looks like now I I just give what I actually genuinely have time for. So it's like my boundaries are so intact that I don't feel like a bitch if I'm like saying no to something, or if I'm if I just don't have the mental capacity to support or hold space or anything like that. I just behave in what I need. And I think I was so hurt back then was because I really didn't have my needs at the forefront of these particular relations. You're young, so I was like I was going through all of the things and figuring out who I was at the same time. But now it feels really profound to like be able to pick up on a relationship from the moment I meet someone and go, okay, you're a work colleague. You're going to be a sunshine and rainbow friend who I talk to every day until the day I die. Or you're going to be a friend who now this is really convenient and really great and we love each other, but we probably will have a chapter closing at some point because it's like different levels of depth, you know? And with like older friends, it's like, is it just because historically we've known each other, so we have that nostalgic history? But what about the now? Is that depth there now, or was it just convenient for that time? I hope this is kind of making sense, Walnut. But yeah, my walnutting this week is I was sort of trying to articulate this in a way in an empowered way. And because that person is still recovering people pleasery, they were like, you can't just take. No, that's really selfish. Blah, blah, blah. And I was coming from a more empowered way of thinking where it's not, I don't just come in and use and abuse people and I'm like, hey, see you, bye. Thanks. I got what I needed. But it's seeing it for what it is, seeing the things for what they are. I think that's the key point there. Sometimes in life, we get so bogged down by the little tiny storm in a teapot things that from where I'm sitting, it's really nice to see that overarched view of, okay, this is what it is. I'm content. Am I getting what I need? And able to give them what they need. It's transpherical, it's open and honest, and you don't need to say hello. I know that hi, nice to meet you. I know that you're not going to be a sunshine and rainbow friend, so I'll just take what I need from you, and I'm quite happy for you to take what you need from me. You don't need to, it's not like that. It's just like cards are on the table, and that kind of like perspective comes from walnutting and working on boundaries and working on like loving yourself. Like I feel like the personal developmental stuff that I've been doing Walnut, I feel so different to some of the people that I meet where they're still in that space of being a peanut and they don't love themselves, they don't respect themselves, and that's really sad. And maybe I'm here for them to I sound so martyry. That's not what I mean. Well, no, it's not that I'm here for them to help them with that part of their life, but it's like sometimes relationships come up and happen because it's just what it is for that, the right now, laying it on the table for what it is, and basically we all get to win. We all get to have a piece of the pie. It's not, we don't need to pour ourselves into something that's we're not getting anything back in return. And it's not to say that I never got anything back from them. It's just sort of when the things fizzled out, I was like, oh, you don't love me anymore? Kind of thing. Oh, I waffled a little bit, but I hope you're kind of picking up the little message of this episode, Walnut. But what I'm trying to say is we do grow, and sometimes it's a really beautiful place to like see things for what they are, and it doesn't make you a bitch, it doesn't make you selfish for deciding, oh, I can see this for this relation, particularly for what it is, and my needs from this relationship are XYZ, to help you understand what their needs from the relationship are as well. That's just a little musing and a learning I've had, and that some people are still very at the beginning phases of their walnut journey, where it can be really triggering. So yeah, I suppose that was a situation where I picked a different time or person to have that sort of profound discussion with, such as now where I'm having it with you, Walnut, where you can kind of hear me. And I know that there is a little piece of you that will understand what I mean. But it's just a really nice feeling to be in this place now, to see when new people come into my life, and kind of like doing that pre-vetting judgments of, okay, this is what it is, and then deciding from there how you're going to behave and things, and having those boundaries come so much easier now than what they did before, because I have been a walnut in multiple walnuttings and situations that have been really hurtful and hard. So I just wanted to share my learning on that and my little like percolation that I've had. So if this resonates, I know it was really waffly and I didn't really come to a full circle point, but I would really love to know what you think, and if you've had a sort of similar experience or experiences with the relations in your life, and how it made you feel. And are you still at the beginning recovering people pleaser phase, or are you able to now see that? Or maybe now that I've said it, you can kind of like see things from a little bit of an outside perspective as well. But I hope this helps, and I hope that you've picked something out of this episode that is helpful to you and being a walnut and living your best life and loving yourself. So on that, have a happy Walnut Wednesday. You are beautiful, you are sexy, you are delicious, and you are not selfish. You're not selfish. You're worth having a boundary for. You're worth saying no for. You're worth seeing things for what they are for. Have a happy Walnut Wednesday, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.